Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and staff, they comfort me. Thou prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Friday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. Juma Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. Pray for Ghana, pray for yourself, and pray for me, pray for all of us. Pray that we will be out of the mess we find ourselves in. And pray that our leaders will be guided by the Almighty Himself to accept responsibility for the failings. And then also that will help them to put together the best solutions possible. I want to say thank you to Sonar Fashions in Tamale for my outfit. 0246 590162. 0246 590162 is in Kuku in Tamale. And also thank you to all our affiliates across the country. Lolonyo FM in the Volta region, they are picking this up. Thank you very much, our folks in Lolonyo. This morning, I want to start the conversation and maybe guide you through the number of taxes that you pay on the fuel that you buy. We need to constantly remind ourselves how much we are paying for what it is that we're getting. I told you earlier this week that Russia is declaring, banks in Russia are declaring profits for, they're fighting and declaring profits, billions of dollars. We, who are away from the fight, consistently are blaming Russia, Ukraine, COVID-19. We are about the only country in the world that still charges COVID-19 levy, but we continue to blame COVID for all our woes. So this morning, if we are ready, quickly, let's see the number of taxes that we pay on our petroleum. I'll guide you through some of those things. Did Dr. Bawumia ever talk about press freedom when he spoke? Did Dr. Bawumia ever mention press freedom? Because yesterday would have been the anniversary of Ahmed Hussein Swale, who was murdered. A member of parliament, sitting member of parliament, incidentally head of the Defense and Security Committee in parliament. He wanted to be flag bearer of the MPP. Right? He's a sitting member of parliament, Kennedy Japan. He showed Ahmed Swale's picture on TV. Ahmed Swale was under witness protection. Police were supposed to be guiding him. He is dead. We have still not found the people who killed him. The main person who put his picture on TV with all his collaborators at Oman FM and Oman TV, Oman Media, nobody has invited them. But those are the same people who be screaming atop their lungs saying that we need to do the right thing. Which is the right thing? Ahmed Swale is dead. Now I'm asking, did Dr. Bawumia speak about press freedom? No, he didn't. So he has no plan for the media. He has no plan for press freedom. And we keep dropping on the press freedom index. Give me the list Johnny's of taxes we pay on fuel in Ghana. We pay the energy fund levy. We pay sanitation and pollution levy. We pay price stabilization and recovery levy. We pay energy sector levy. We pay special petroleum tax. We pay road fund levy. We pay energy debt recovery levy. We pay unified pricing petroleum fund. We pay primary distribution margin. We pay bust margin. We pay fuel marketing margin. We pay marketers margin. We pay dealers or retailers operation margin. Now, look at number 2. Number 2 is sanitation and pollution levy. How different is that from the emissions tax, which Dr. Bawumia says when he comes, he will abolish? How different is that? Look at, we pay 13 different taxes on petrol and diesel alone. And did you know that even kerosene, which is supposed to be for the mobrowa, kerosene is much more costly than diesel and petrol? A liter of kerosene is much more expensive than diesel and petrol. But kerosene is supposed to be for the mobrowa who cannot afford LPG. The list of taxes that you pay on petrol alone. Yet we have a so-called policy by Dr. Bawumia, which is, Johnny's he says is novel. Barter trade that we all did, African anthropology, balanced reciprocity, and all those terminologies that we learned in school. Dr. Bawumia says his gold for oil is novel. And aside that, we even added gold for oil and we added dollars to it. Gold for oil, now we had dollars to it. Show me a picture of the National Cathedral. Did Dr. Bawumia ever mention anything about the National Cathedral? Because now that it is obvious that Dr. Bawumia is moving away from some of the decisions that his boss, who reposed a lot of confidence in him, right? He's moving away from his boss, who reports a lot of confidence in him and said he's even using his brain to govern. He has moved away. So literally, he's telling everybody that, oh, the decisions that my boss took, they were not wise decisions. Did Dr. Bawumia speak about the National Cathedral? And the monies that we have sunk into the National Cathedral, could it have been used for something else? He's preaching to us that he can rule the country with 50 ministers. Then I asked a common sense question. I said, if we can do this thing with 50 ministers, why are you still following a man who is doing it with over 120 ministers? In an economy that you said you inherited a declining economy. Why are you doing it? Did Dr. Bawumia speak about the National Cathedral? Because he has been to many more churches than he has been to mosques in this country. Oh, check the record. Dr. Bawumia has been to many more churches than he has been to mosques in this country. At some point, he was even calling himself Timothy and calling himself a boys' brigade boy. Did Dr. Bawumia speak about the National Cathedral? He didn't speak about it. Please ask him why. Tag him on Twitter. Ask him why he did not speak about the National Cathedral. Because the National Cathedral, let me tell you, it started as Akufo-Addo's private cathedral. He says, God, give me my second term. And we are in the second term. The second term is the 4 more to do more. He says, give me my second term. And if you grant me that, I will build you a cathedral in your honor and in praise of you, Almighty God. And he said we were not going to use state resources to do anything. That we were going to do private fundraising, crowdfunding to do it. Today, we have even spent monies that Parliament did not approve to do it. And people were dying. Can you imagine the monies we have sunk into this one could have built the La General Hospital? Agenda 111. We have not finished a single one of Agenda 111 hospitals. Can you imagine the money that was sunk into this? How many hospitals that could have built? We don't care. So I asked Dr. Bawumia, will he abandon the National Cathedral, the world's most expensive hole ever dug? Would he abandon it? What will he do with the National Cathedral? What will be his bold decision or bold solution for the National Cathedral? You see how he intelligently avoided it? Give me the screenshot, the tweet.
Johnny's Bite.
A gentleman put up an analogy yesterday, and I want to go to the ordinary people. Yesterday, a gentleman put up an analogy. I shared it. Kwekwa Jumandia Jr. Today, I'm sharing another.
Bite.
Hanan Confidence Abdul. He says, you are a driver's mate to Kumbungu. You load passengers and the driver started heading to Mankangu. But you are quiet because you are the driver's mate. Use your head, Massa. He laughs. Then Bevu Gameli comes and says, when the passengers complain, you tell them to relax. When the driver gets to Mankangu, you, the mate, will drive them back to Kumbungu. They have summarized what Dr. Bawumia was telling you. You are the mate. You are loading the trotro. The trotro is supposed to head to Kumbungu. The driver comes to sit behind the thing and decides to drive towards Mankangu. When the passengers complain, the passengers here are Ghanaians. The driver is President Akufo-Addo. The mate is Dr. Bawumia, as he himself named himself. Now, Bevu Michael says, but the mate says, wait, you let the driver take you to Mankangu, which is not what you bargained for. When we get there, the mate will drive you back to Kumbungu. That's how Dr. Bawumia is behaving now. By feigning innocence and refusing to take responsibility. It wasn't me. Show me a picture of Dr. Bawumia and his wife at the party where the E-levy cake was baked. E-levy cake. They baked a whole cake with the letter E, L, E, V, Y. Show me the picture. Osei Mensa Bose's majority leader. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was there. No, show me that. Show me, yes. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Osei Mensa Bosu. Samira Bawumia, my husband is an economic whiz kid. They were there. Look at the, please lose the super so that we can see the E-levy cake. E-levy cake was there. See, E-L-E-V-Y. Did Dr. Bawumia and his wife and all his collaborators, or so everybody, not know that by attending this party and eating some of the E-levy cake and posing to take pictures with it, they will come back and tell us that, oh, indeed, we will come and cancel the E-levy? Did Dr. Bawumia ever think about it? Did Dr. Bawumia ever think about it? Today he's telling us that when he comes, he will cancel the E-levy, he will abolish it. When he and his wife and their collaborators and conspirators were eating the E-levy cake, what were they thinking? When they fought everybody in this country about E-levy and did not listen to the economists who are well versed in the things, Professor Korte and the rest, what were they thinking? Then they say, oh, you should discuss Dr. Bawumia's policy. Which of the policies that he spoke about is new? One student, one tablet. I said, even one teacher, one laptop. You have not finished. Right. If you decide to take the items one by one, you see that Dr. Bawumia made a big mess of himself and actually blackmailed his president and threw him under the bus. So Dr. Bawumia says, if I win power in 2025, these are the things I'm going to do for you. But between February 2024 and January 2025, how did Dr. Bawumia propose how Ghanaians are supposed to survive? He said, oh, now endure the E-levy, endure the emissions tax, endure the betting tax. Oh, deal with it, enjoy it. You wait, tarry. When I come as president, I'll cancel them. Between February 2024, all right, and January 2025, how are we supposed to survive? Did he tell you? Did he give you a plan? Find me Stephen Amoa's video, please. Stephen Amoa is MP for Nshire, so he's Deputy Minister for Finance. No, Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, not Finance. And I know that he has always wanted to go to Finance. But Deputy Minister for Trade, listen to his thoughts about E-levy. Listen to him.
Johnny's Bite.
Whatever they want to do, we will pass it at the right time. They can't do anything. We are in government. If they claim it will make us unpopular, why wouldn't they stop? Well, they know this is going to transform and change the lives of Ghanaians. They know this is going to reverse the consequences of the COVID. They know this is going to put our fiscal space in the right perspective. And they are afraid that Ghanaians will continue to build their goodwill and confidence in this government. So please, we need a E-levy. And those who are saying that we should reduce it to 1% and go, boss, if you want something to be reduced to a certain figure, you can't just make that arbitrary statement. You cannot project out of nothing. You should project out of properly done time series analysis with your data points, very convincing. Then we can understand that this is what we have to do.
This was the posture, not only of Stephen Amoa or Tribefi, John Kumba, name them, all the communicators. Today, Dr. Bawumia is telling you that you were not thinking right. When with all your energies and with all your degrees and experience and with all your family background and everything else, you were busy defending E-levy to a fault and fighting everybody and making enemies along the line. Dr. Bawumia says that we will cancel it. And you know what's interesting? They were the same people sitting on the front line clapping for Dr. Bawumia. No principle. And they say, oh, we have changed our mind. It's okay. It's only a fool who doesn't change his mind. When did you realize that the E-levy was a bogus levy to be charged on people? When did you realize that it was a nuisance tax to be charged on the people? Did you realize it because you have to align with Dr. Bawumia? Or did you realize it because you are in parliament to serve the interests of the people? Or you are in government to serve the interests of the people? The whole country told you that this is a bad law. Change it. Don't go for it. He said, no, we will pass it. And they can't do FOCO. Today you see, then you say we should discuss. What are we supposed to discuss? The discussions, we had the discussions with you a long time ago. You use ahomaswokrasi, jackrasi, minimcracy, enumjackrasi. You used it to pass the E-levy. Today you say you abolish it. Because of even E-levy, you stopped arbitrarily taking what you call a road tolls. Today you are running back to road tolls. Put that screenshot for me. Dr. Bawumia says we will not borrow again. Did he speak about borrowing? Because we have to hold him to strict proof. The things that he told us that warn our heart. There's a newspaper cutting. He said we will not borrow again. that he worked at the Bank of Ghana. I want to show. It's a newspaper cutting. I want to show it. If you can't find it, Dr. Bawumia's wife is there. He even has a clip. She has a clip. Dr. Bawumia's wife, Samia Bawumia, she spoke on a very interesting matter. I will be doing a lot of throwbacks. Play the video for me.
We'll bring it to the we are vice president. You head the economic management committee of the country. Into economic policies now will be driven by you, and I say will be directed by you. Into I know say he's competent in that area. He's got the focus. He's got the mindset. He's got the experience in macroeconomics, and even as a general academician,
That's the beautiful wife of the vice president, who now calls himself a driver's mate, not an assistant driver. You heard what she said. Said if you are the vice president, you take charge of everything, economic management team, the policies and etc. driven by you, as has been confirmed on Bawumia.com. So why is Dr. Bawumia running away from what has been implemented? What he said, he guided the implementation and shaped the formulation of the policies. This is what Dr. Bawumia said. He said, I have worked at the Bank of Ghana, and so I know Ghana is rich. It is because the managers of the economy are incompetent, and so all they think is borrowing. The MPPs voted for will harness resources in Ghana. I'm telling you, we can develop Ghana without borrowing. The money is there. Dr. Bawumia, you see the things they said when they wanted power. Today, with the benefit of power, you're asking them to explain how the two things, the two situations, what I ordered versus what I got, they jab. They can't explain. Show me. There's one that Dr. Bawumia said we could have built so many things with $40 billion. There's one there. Today, what is the debt stock of the country under the watch of Dr. Bawumia and Nana Danko Akufo-Addo? He says MPP would have built 1,000 factories with $40 billion loan. Dr. Bawumia, 1,000 factories. How much have we borrowed? How many? This was in June 2016, 24th of June. How many factories do we have? From taxation to production is doing from taxation to taxation. Ken Ofori, I tax. Reverend, I miss, I die.
Right.
That's where we are. So did Dr. Bawumia speak about borrowing? Those are the things we want to hear him say, because at the end of the day, breaking the eight would be dependent on the achievements of the government. He promised us, because we thought that John Mahama was borrowing too much. So we said, what are you doing? If you put together how much Dr. Bawumia and his boss alone have borrowed, it is more than all the debt stock we have had since Nkrumah. Nkrumah, through Buzia, through Liman, through Rawlings. If you put Akufo-Addo's father himself, if you put everything together, what they have borrowed in 8 years alone, some which we will pay in the next 40, 50, 60 years, is more put together. Now, what do they have to show for it? What exactly do they have to show for it? Play me your Dr. Bawumia video of choice. Play me anyone. Any of the videos you find. Play for me.
Johnnie's right.
Where I want to see us go in the next few years is to move public transport completely from a dependence on petrol and diesel to fully electric vehicles. That is really where Ghana ought to go.
The banking sector also, you've mentioned that you want to reduce the taxes on financial services,
yes,
for instance.
Yes.
Who will this benefit, though, and
well,
how so?
I think that it'll benefit the entire country. You know, the financial sector, Kwesi, is one of the areas where the country is lagging behind. About 80% of our population does not have a bank account, the bankable public. 80% does not have a bank account. So financial services.
How many of our people
right.
have a bank account as we speak? How many of our people have a bank account as we speak? He promised us that we're all going to have bank accounts. When you ask, they say, oh, your Momo account is your bank account too. The highest level premium perfidy. Put up Kofi Bento's thing. That's the last one. We're wrapping up with it. His Facebook post. I didn't want to talk about Mr. Kofi Bento because he's a very respected voice in CSO, advocacy, all those things. We all look up to him.
Johnnie's right.
But over the last few weeks, I don't know. And I am not by any chance saying that John Mahama is an angel. John Mahama had his faults. We remember Jida, Sada, Isofoton, RLG. We remember, what do you call it? I confirm. We remember, Gitmo. We remember Mary. We remember all those things. Remember Buzz branding. We spoke about it. And as I told somebody yesterday that somebody says, oh, you just joined journalism. Why are you making plenty? I said, I have practiced for 19 years. Oh. For 19 years. I didn't start today. Long after Akufo-Addo has left, I will still be a journalist. Then somebody says, oh, but journalism is not agenda setting. I say, you don't even understand what journalism is. Any good journalist who doesn't understand agenda setting, priming, and framing should leave the newsroom and go and sell Kobe. When, as a journalist, if there's public opinion and it's not well shaped, you help to shape it. If there's public opinion and it is shaped, you publish it. It's basic, value-laden. This is Mr. Kofi Bento. He says, so many people are asking, so why didn't Dr. Bawumia resign if he disagreed with some policies? Here's your answer. I just asked someone, do you file for divorce every time you disagreed with your husband? A prince cannot simply repudiate his inheritance even if he disagrees with his father. A vice president can't just resign even if he disagrees with his president. When you are next in line, you learn how to wait your time. It takes over 4 years to get into that union. Wisdom requires that you wait for your right time. You wait for your right time against the will of the people, for the people to suffer. And how do you even equate the role of a vice president to that of a husband and wife relationship? Do husband and wife relationships collect taxes from the citizens of Ghana, Mr. Kofi Bento? Some of these analogies, when you bring them up, then you become the subject of public ridicule. And it hurts me that people are actually ridiculing you. It hurts me. Don't do this to yourself. Don't put yourself in such line, Mr. Bento. I'm sorry, but don't do this. Don't do this to yourself. We should be able to tell the government that they have been incompetent, they have been irresponsible, they have mismanaged, they have gone against their own words. I have demonstrated to you today what Dr. Bawumia said and how he has survived 8 years under the same thing, doing even worse than what he complained about, together with his wife. So what are you really typing and defending? What are you advocating? What theory are you propounding? What are you propounding? What theory are you propounding, Mr. Bento? Now all small boys, people who don't even have a BSc, BA, and all of that, they are now taking a dig at you. That's not cool. That's not cool. Good morning.